The Widow in Cabin 13-inch, Storytelling and Mysteries channel. Welcome back to the Storytelling and Mysteries channel, where every story hides a truth and every whisper comes from somewhere. Tonight, we journey deep into the Appalachian woods, a place where silence has a voice and grief can last longer than life itself. This is the story of the widow in Cabin 13. Locals around Lake Cormac have always warned travelers about Cabin 13, a one-room wooden cottage left to rot since the 1940s. They say it once belonged to Margaret Vale, a woman who lived there with her husband, Thomas, after he returned from the war. For years, they were inseparable, but one cold winter night, Thomas went out fishing on the frozen lake and never came back. When the thaw came, they found his boat, but not his body. Margaret never left the cabin after that. She lived there alone for 20 years, until one night, neighbors heard screaming echoing from the woods. By the time anyone reached Cabin 13, she was gone. The door was open, the fire was still burning, and there were two sets of footprints in the snow leading toward the lake. Only one set came back. In 2018, a college documentary group from Knoxville decided to explore the local folklore. Their goal was to record a short horror feature based on the cabin's legend. Among them was Emily Carr, a sound design student with a fascination for paranormal audio. The group arrived just before sunset, carrying lights, cameras, and a spirit box, determined to capture something spooky. The first sign of trouble came when they found fresh flowers laid on the cabin steps. No one had been there in decades. Inside, the air smelled faintly of perfume, lilac, and ash. As night fell, the group began filming interviews around the fireplace. When Emily played back her recordings, she noticed something strange. Behind their laughter, there was a faint sound of a woman humming. At first, they assumed it was a trick of the wind, until the humming started coming from inside the cabin walls. Emily set her microphone by the old mirror hanging over the fireplace. She began asking simple EVP questions. Is anyone here with us? Do you remember your husband, Margaret? For nearly 5 minutes, there was nothing but static. Then, a faint reply, drawn out like a sigh. He's home. Moments later, the cabin door creaked open by itself. A gust of icy air swept through, and every candle went out at once. The group panicked, grabbing flashlights, and that's when one of them screamed. In the mirror, they saw her, a pale woman in a long nightgown, standing behind Emily. But when they turned around, there was no one there. The temperature dropped to near freezing. The sound recorder started picking up a heartbeat. That wasn't anyone's in the room. The door slammed shut, and over the sound of static, they heard 3 distinct knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Only 2 of the students made it back to town by dawn. Their footage was never released, and local authorities later found the cabin empty, but the door had been nailed shut from the inside. Inside, investigators found Emily's recorder still running. The final audio captured a woman whispering softly, "He came for me, and now he's coming for you." Every few years, hikers still report lights flickering in Cabin 13. Sometimes, they say, they hear a woman's voice calling from the trees. Sometimes, they hear knocking when there's no wind. One man swore he saw a figure standing by the frozen lake, waving, her hand pale as frost. He said she looked sad until she smiled. Last winter, a park ranger responding to a missing hiker report passed by the cabin. He claimed he saw a candle burning through the window, even though the glass was covered in decades of dust. When he opened the door, the smell of lilac filled the air. The table was set for 2, and carved into the wooden floor, under layers of dirt, were the words, "He finally came home." The ranger turned to leave, but before stepping outside, he heard 3 knocks from behind the wall, slow, deliberate, and close. He looked back one last time. The candle was gone. They say some loves are too strong to die, and some griefs too deep to rest. If you ever find yourself near Lake Cormac, and you see Cabin 13, don't knock on the door, because the widow inside might just answer. Thank you for watching Storytelling and Mysteries channel. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories that keep you awake long after the lights go out. See you in the next mystery. Faint female whisper, "He's home."